So they won 10-5 on the CT half, then they've completely fluffed their lines on the T side. So that's not surprising, really. Obviously, got a lot of work to do on their T sides.
Yeah, well, so, and obviously now we see Cash in there coming out first. We saw that last night, 16-10 for Method. So now the difference is here, and I'm pretty sure it applies for the first 4 maps this time as opposed to the first 2, is that where that is their map choice, they'll start out T-side on Cash, which will be slightly different than how things went down last night. Now, that said, we do go to Dust 2. That's the second map.
That's really weird how
Method also
comes down, right? The maps they played yesterday, the first 2. Maybe they want to get some revenge, maybe.
I would say SKDC obviously has confidence on their Dust 2 to come back at it because they picked that up first. And then, obviously, if it was a simple 16-10, like I said, if one pistol round goes the other way, they pick up, an eco even somewhere, you pick up 2 to 3 rounds just on momentum, then it's a whole different game. It's not like it was 16-5, 16-8, somewhere in that range where they're that.
It could have come down to a lot of clutches and economic situations that could have slipped it away for them. So those Cash and Dust are always those kind of maps where it can go down to very small moments that define the whole game, especially the clutch situations that I mentioned. So this will be interesting to see how this one goes down. Whether they've learnt their lessons from yesterday, like we obviously didn't get to watch it, but it'll be interesting what they can do to adapt and maybe surprise Method a little bit there.
And we look at Cash to start it off. So, again, going back to what the presence we were talking about in mid, this is a map that is very, very mid-emphasized. We haven't actually seen a lot of it in the qualifier. I'm going to see how Slemmy comes in. This is definitely going to be one of those positions, one of these maps where even if he doesn't play it at mid, let's say they go for the rifle strategy there, he's got to get in a quad. Now, that means if they throw smokes in and they're running a high smoke execution, he becomes a little bit redundant. His options are limited. There's double op setup, which we haven't seen it all really come out from SKDC, so.
The AWP on Cash is interesting, especially the CT side. You have 2 options really, like you said. You can go between A and middle, but for me, the best thing you can do with that map is put the pressure on the AWP player to solo B. I think that's when he can be most effective. He can give you very good calls. He has the advantage in the gunfights as well, so chucking him in as the anchor, I think that's the best setup, and it allows you to play your rifles where you like, whether you don't even have any mid presence whatsoever, go focus towards A and let them have middle almost, but it'll be like we said, Slemmy hasn't been the best AWPer, in my opinion, since I've been watching him. And this is obviously where they need to step up so much. So where they utilize him and whether they can use him around, whether they will even give him the AWP, will be yet to be seen. But I think we're ready to go into this. This is obviously no knife round. The sides have been predetermined. And SKDC starting on CT, Method starting on C. We should be ready to go down.
And here we go. Just as quick as that. So Molotov for Ellis. This is interesting because that means they're going to have less smoke on the A site. Much less of a default play. They do have a smoke for Ocean. He's going to come back around now as Ape. Double stack on quad. They'll get the call from Ape, potentially throw in the Molotov, force them either to run through it or fall back, buy themselves some time. But as we can see, 2 players already boosted. So they want to split A using Highway. But as I say that, they're also falling out of A main after an initial smoke at Red Crate. Here they go down mid, though. Justin's already around the corner. It's Strebber that finding the first kill on Slemmy, and they'll continue to pour it on the A site. Now the late push will come out from Squeaky, and it's late enough that it may catch them off guard, not unless Ellis can do anything about it, and he cannot. It's going to be very swift from Method.
Quite interesting they used the smoke at the beginning of the round to almost bait out a fake, potentially making it look like it's going towards B when no players arrived through that smoke. But like you said, as that was going off, they're trying to get some attention away from them. Had players boosted up middle, went straight off a Highway, had no retention whatsoever from the CT. So very easy for them to get up, and the distraction would have been made from that smoke. So they got up, made the initial frags, got the bomb down as well. And it seems like SKDC are going to reply though with a force by their own. They've got the 5.7s, a Desert Eagle as well. And it seems like they're stacking mainly towards middle, 1 player either side of the bomb side. But it's not going to be enough to hold off these rifles. They need to work out how they can get into this round.
Main line, already through mid, using this AK. He's going to spot for Slemmy, who's coming down from Highway. 3 mid stack does do some damage, but SKDC not able to collect any frags, not able to knock away any rifles. Strebber coming close. He's on 8 HP. But it's still going to be Method with a hefty advantage, walking over to B. They'll get met by 1 player rotating up to the top of Heaven. That's Ape. He does spot the cross, but yet to find the kill. Now he does with the Deagle. Bomb still up. And it's going to make it to the platform. So they will get this bomb down. Strebber's going to watch the flank. They're not done just yet, though, because Ape's now fine, too. It's back to a 3-on-3. And Strebber's on low HP, so a chance here. And Strebber's gone. So now the retake is entirely possible as Stewie will push through with his teammates. Another dink coming through. Now, luckily, that's through the edge of the box. So Justin won't take much damage, more than 17 from that. And now the response frags will come out. The crossfire is set. Ellis still going to make it interesting. And Ely has to hold on tight with the Glock because he was out of bullets in the AK.
Yeah, pretty convincing stuff in the CTs. After that initial setup, when we saw them flushing CTs out from sandbags and stuff, it seemed that there was a very definitive round for us, for Method. But getting into the B bomb site, Deagle headshot comes in, and then another one tag as well. Seems like they were over-facing a little bit too much there. Came down to a one-on-one in the end, so obviously very successful round for SKDC, but not getting the win is going to allow Method to get back into this. They still have their Galils, not loads of utility this time. They won't have the same Molotovs, but doing a very similar approach here, just boosting up, seeing if they can scatter any kills. But all the CTs will actually be mainly towards the A area and seeing what they can do over there. Maybe waiting with a pop flash. You can see Slemmy does have one there. Just waiting to see if they can get any information to surprise the terrorists in that area.
So late smoke out from Strebber. That will cover off Z, allow him to work a little bit further up middle. Got a stack in this A site, though, that is slowly rotating back, and they need to get information on this to Method. Because if they don't find something soon or find an opening soon, that stack is going to rotate directly to where they're waiting. Ocean's waiting underneath the vent too. He'll have heard this pop out, which is why the rotation's coming back over from A. And Ocean, does he have time to line this up? He doesn't land the shot. So a bit of a missed opportunity, a bit of a blunder. That's going to allow main line to get the kill back with the Galil. And into the site they will go. Smoke covering off from CT, and Ely's actually just going to fire through the garage door at the exact right moment. He'll do the same looking for Ape, but Ape's nowhere to be found. He's all the way back out toward mid, potentially looking for an exit with the P250.
Yeah, not really much you can do with this, I'm afraid. 5-on-1 situation. Just having a look at the CT economy here. After that force buy, we talked about whether Slemmy was going to be impactful with the AWP. I don't think he'll actually be able to afford one at this stage of the game. So this is the chance you take when you force up a CT. You may get the few kills on the board, but if you don't win the round, it means you go into the first gun round without a full buy. They're going to have to sacrifice helmets and potentially some of their equipment and its diffuse kits. They may be able to squeeze one glass cannon AWP out of this, but it's going to be a very forced buy indeed. You can see that he actually can't do that. Slemmy's going to be going into this first round with $3,500. And as the AWP player, that's not what you want at all. So this is going to be a difficult round for SKDC. I would suggest they probably need to do something a little bit more aggressive. Get in, surprise with a flashbang, get into there, see if they can get the first pick, fall back, take the round to them. But Method, all they really need to do here is one full set piece, and without the incendiary grenades to hold them off, should be quite a convincing round for them. But here we go then, 2-1-2 set up for SKDC.
So first gun going to be important. They've managed to save up a good number of rifles for the T side as well, so economy looking good for the next round. Not necessarily for a full buy, but easily to force up regardless. Ape's going to push through into A main right now, and that's a decent choice. As he realizes nobody's here, it gives them a bit more map control. Deep smoke into the stairwell. That'll stabilize the map control that they've gained now as well as they go for the boost in mid. So T's going to change the pace, and because of Ape's forward position, they're able to stack up mid, but they're both gone down. It's not even a trade for the player that goes over the top. Strebber and Justin now inside middle can try and exploit both bomb sites. Ape forced to fall out of A main because of it. And Strebber finding him means A's open. They don't know that yet, though, because Ellis is rotating back through Z. He's actually looking to take the fight, potentially. And Justin's still just waiting with this bomb. So if they get caught, there is a chance. If, in particular, Justin gets caught, there's a real chance for the CTs. And he's pushing, actually, out towards Sandbag as Ellis. Now he's found Strebber. Justin needs to go on this, but he's going to wait, and he actually wants to go back and take the fight, luckily finding Ellis because, again, bomb goes down in that situation. The round could come to an end. Stewie's going to bring it back. So it's a one-on-one, 27 seconds, lots of time for the bomb to make its way over to A site and get planted, but Justin wants to take the fight, and in doing so, he's actually going to miss where Stewie was coming from because he's rotated back through Z. He's now aware of that, but the problem is he's given up his head start on trying to get this bomb planted, so giving Stewie a much better chance to close in before he'll get post-plant positioning. Stewie flashing over, knows he's gone right. Justin aware that he's still approaching, and Justin's going to win out the round, so Method will take the first gun as well as the pistol round, and things looking good now. Yeah, really important clutch round there. 4-0 in favor of Method. We looked at the CT economy last round, and it was very weak. They go into this one. It's going to have to be a force eco as well. A full eco, pardon me. But the round they tried, they almost took my advice. They went for the A push, tried to get that first pick in there. Did very well to lock off the map control, like you said, but as soon as that smoke went down, they took advantage of middle. The terrorists bailed out, got the frags exchanged for them, and actually got the advantage as well. That round fell down at that stage for them, but the one-on-one could have gone either way, but unfortunately this time Method do take it. And you can see the CT stacking again in towards middle. Didn't really work out for them too well before. There was the retake on the B that they got their kills. decent exchange going on at mid again, favoring SKDC. On the eco, Stewie picking up a kill, but going down to 5 HP. Means he's got to fall just a little bit into a passive position. He'll actually get inside the vents, which will support Ocean as they walk into B, but with Ocean already meeting his demise, it does mean that B is essentially open. Stewie will do what he can with what little health he has, but Ellis is now going to get caught in middle, making problems worse for a potential retake. And there it is, the nade to collect Stewie. Exit kills, please. That's all SKDC want to look for at this point in time.
It was quite sloppy from Strebel to start that around to get taken down like that. He didn't have any teammates with him. There was no reply whatsoever. That could have been very dangerous had they found another frag, but they went towards B, cleaned up quite nicely with 3 frags there, and they're going to look quite healthy going into this next one. Looking forward, the money isn't going to be great in the CT camp either. I think with the lost money bonus, they will be able to justify an AWP by this time, but they really need to stabilize the economy. This is a lot we've seen from SKDC. Bad economy management has lost them games, and this going into this 5-0 down in CT Southern Cash after you lost this map yesterday to this team, you have to really favor Method right now. This is looking great for them. They're on the Cash statistically is like 54% in favor of CTs, but I think in this sort of matchup it really does favor Method going into it. So this is going to be a very big round indeed. You can see if we have a look at the money now. Slemmy has got enough for an AWP and armor. So I would suggest to them play 1 AWP towards the B site and then utilize your rifles, whether you go to the mid control or go stacking A. Let's see how they approach it though. But Slemmy, considering his buy, you can see he hasn't actually bought anything yet, probably asking his teammates what he's going to do. Does opt for the 5 rifle setup now. So obviously they're going to have to be a little bit more passive, get more equipment though, and actually get some defuse kits on the board as well. So like I said, very important round. Let's see how Method approach this one.
The default, that smoke will get placed as well as now one on A, so both of the standardized smokes to slow down the push have been thrown. Bit of a off smoke on the sandbags at mid though. That allows for the player at Z, that's going to be Ocean, to come out a little bit further and still get vision down mid. But the T's are fanned out across the map, dead even. Ely out toward long main line in front of the stairs at A main. Strebber just leaving mid now to go join in on B. That's where the bomb's been dropped by default, so they've got Stewie inside the site to deal with. But the problem is that mid has a lot of presence from the CTs right now. Ellis very close to the hut. He'll be able to get inside the vents quickly. Ocean also there to cover off main, and they're going to have to because it's a wall of smokes out, so Ocean needs to find this. And the Molotov's in on B. A good play, but wow, Flash coming back out, and Ellis is able to collect. Things are looking great for SKDC as now they'll march in. 2 kills going the way of Method. Might just give them enough to potentially get a bomb down, but it makes the retake, although down a man, very probable because they're on high HP, both Ape and Slemmy. As the bomb does get planted, smokes off on CT as well. They're going to go through it. Flash in. Slemmy's there, but Slemmy's lined up. Traded out by 8, but they've still got the refrag potential, and there it is. Method now continuing forward with a dominant T performance.
That was really nice strat from Method there, actually, making sure they had presence towards B before they executed anything. Those players coming out middle were so important. You saw them do the wall of smoke. They actually got the first frag as well and took a lot of the attention away from B, but Els came out and he actually got 2 huge frags, and I thought that was the turnaround point for SKDC. He could have got back into that one, but unfortunately the frags just didn't go in their favor at that stage, and now it's a 6th round on the board for Method, but an AWP is out. A change of play for SKDC, and like I said, he's gone towards the B bomb site. He has locked that down as an anchor and allows his teammates to kind of isolate that middle area and show more presence towards A. T's just kind of feeling the map out now, taking this very slowly, seeing if any picks are available to them. No one boosting it though, just making sure that it looks like it's a set piece towards A. The amount of players they have towards A right now, this is probably a good time to do it. They haven't done a full execute with the smokes yet. This one is a lot more telegraphed than most strats you'll see European teams do these days, but let's see how it goes for them.
The interesting thing is that they've got Strebber a little bit farther away from A main, so by the time those smokes deploy, it's really just going to be Ely on the initial entry. And in fact, as all the smokes go out, they're going to go for the boost instead, so a slightly different iteration of the strategy. Yeah. And by getting that first pick on Ocean, calling these rotations, they've actually opened up B. This is a great play from Method because Ape's left. Stewie's had to come back from mid. They will get onto Heaven just in time, but they're already crossing through, and Justin has to take the fight with Stewie. Shoulder peeks it, baits it out, and he nails the shot. Now Bomb has a real chance of being planted. They still have Ape above, and he's got that op, so it does cut off Strebber. That's Bomb. Mainline recovers it. But look at Justin's forward position. He'll be able to entirely find Ape when they even go for an exit here if he tries to with that op, and he's already going to get caught out by Silent. It's left to Ellis. He's at mid. No one really chasing.
No, he's done for, I think.
But yeah, he will be found. Yeah, Justin's already behind in Z, and Silent slowly but surely coming out to the garage, so they'll pinch him.
Get one done with him. Just to touch on that round, though, that was actually really cool for Method. When we saw them setting up like that, it seemed like they were going for the really standard A smokes down, get a bomb, try and force out a post-plant situation. But the smokes went down, everything textbook at that stage, but all the players started boosting up middle and actually looked towards highway, got a kill, fell back, went into a B split at that time, and it really pulled the CTs apart. Like, even as watching and seeing everything, it was confusing. We weren't really sure what was going on when they executed, so nothing impossible for SKDC to get back into that round. Losing the first frag as they went into B, and now we just look at their economy, 7-0. They forced up a scout here, but they're getting so much money every round, it's probably justified, but here we go. They're actually going to stack towards B this time as well. One player towards A. The T's would have seen that scout now as well and know they can just take the pedal off the gas a little bit, work out what's going on and take an area, frag for frag, and utilize the economy they have in their favor. So here we go then. First frag coming in for Silent. He will take down Slemmy.
Finding all of the openings. Shutting down this aggression now from SKDC as well. Money already established. 7 rounds, about to be 8. It's definitely a perfect start for this best of 5. And there, CZ75 kill on Stewie, who can't even find anything in response. Ape does, but at this point, he's just being annoying and prolonging this round from moving forward. SKDC still on 0, but will have money in the next round.
Oh yeah, they'll have loads. Look at it, they've lost so many in a row now. They did bring the AWP out last gun round. Didn't really seem to have any impact whatsoever. He played it towards B like I suggested, but when he got baited out and sent away with that A fake, it became almost useless at that point. By the time he retook the bomb site, it was too late. He got naded down. There wasn't anything to do there. But here we go then. Another gun round. 5 rifles yet again. You can see the CT's going for some more mid presence this time instead of locking the bomb site down with an AWP. This will be interesting. We've seen the T's haven't really been controlling mid that much going into these main gun rounds.
3 players coming in from Squeaky. So yet another strategy that we have not seen from Method. Ape's going to be the man who's got to shut that down, but he's flashed at the perfect time, so he's forced around the corner of Catwalk. That allows Mainline to walk directly into Slemmy's position. Ocean getting a response, and this is a decent trade, but the HP, it's down very, very low on Ape. In fact, it's gone with that nade, and it's 16 for Ocean, so all 3 outside of the site have to go for this retake. Bomb just getting planted now by Justin, and one of the 3 already bleeding out. Good responses, though. There's Stewie's shot finally coming alive, and Ellis will find Ely, so it's down to 2 men remaining, and Justin stuck at quad. He still has the ability to peek accordingly, and with Strebber taking down Stewie, that's less he has to worry about on his left. As they march forward, Justin gonna find that last frag. Looking for Ocean to close it. Doesn't even matter. Strebber gets the trade 9-0 right now for Method. Remarkable start.
Oh, that is the problem when you stack towards middle heavily and leave 1 player on the A-bomb site. As soon as he goes down, you're absolutely done for because you saw 3 players at the CT trying to retake from highway. You're also isolated and you're so vulnerable to the utility the T's have available. Molotovs flying on you, HE grenades, and we saw them actually get 2 decent kills on the retake there, but it just wasn't enough. They haven't got a strong enough buy to actually retake that bomb site. So 9-0 in favor of Method on the T side of DCash. This one is looking abysmal for SKDC. They will force buy again, Famises and M4s there, but it didn't work from them before. I'm not sure how it will now. We can see them actually trying to do a bit more of aggressive push here, getting into the squeaky door area and actually finding the first frag of the round.
Ape, cheeky to cut across the front of the garage, jumping as if to say, please don't see me. But he'll get over there, so Ocean gets boosted. He's going to be patient about this boost as well, but if he goes right now, he will, if he looks to his left, spot up exactly where Mainline was, but he hasn't seen that, so Mainline surviving may just catch Ocean if he drops down and gets overly aggressive, because if he turns back, oh, he saw him, but he didn't realize it. Now he does, and he has to fall inside A main. So the boost ultimately accounts for nothing other than a bit of information and potentially detrimental, because Mainline chasing that could have hit the shot on the first if he tried just a little bit harder, but unfortunately doesn't land it. So it's going to be Silent now working B. 3 players already rotating over, though, from SKDC. They're a little anxious on the CT side, and rightfully so. And as they rotate over to B, A's going to be left open. Mainline finding that entry. A smoke off now as well. Ape, Ellis, they'll both head to truck. Stewie's going to walk back to middle, find out exactly where Silent was waiting for those rotations. And with Slemmy on the top of highway, they're just going to march in. They've got the first 2, but Strebber responding again. He clutches out the last round. He looks to do more damage in this one, as it is just him 1 on 3 already with a kill. It would be 4 total. And they're searching. They're jumping over top. They're looking through that smoke. They almost line up. And finally, SKDC will get around.
Finally is definitely the word there. 1 in 10 and CT is not great. So they actually changed up their play style. They're actually going a lot more aggressive. We saw the boost for Ocean coming into the middle. Finally, something a bit more dynamic and surprising the teasers, or 2 players pushing towards Squeaky as well. They needed to be doing this sort of stuff earlier, though. They haven't taken a pause. I'm not really sure why you wouldn't when you're losing this many rounds on the CT side, but there you go. So maybe finally now they can work out how they can actually shut down Method before they execute their full strategy. That's the problem right now. They're allowing Method to do whatever they want. They're not getting picks or even pressuring them before the round, before that execution comes in. So that's something they need to learn from. We can see a lot of players going towards the A or middle area. Will they be boosting up? Maybe go for a fast execute on mid. But AWP now for Silence. He's changing up his play as well.
Oh, he almost hits that first shot too. So dearly close to the edge of Ocean's kneecap. Breaking it like a gangster, but a nice response, Ocean, as he comes back out with the M4, going to the right side of the big white box, changing his angle, winning the duel. Ely also finding one in response, though, so that leaves it at 4-on-4. Bombs left inside Big Garage. Strebber, he's waiting inside the stairs of A main just for any aggressive pushes right now from SKDC, but it's actually Ellis on B who has the best chance to get information if he wanted to walk into the hallways. Yeah. But SKDC, just after how many rounds they've lost, just don't have the confidence level to take those fights.
Yeah, he should be pushing. He needs to get some information. They've got nothing on the map to go on whatsoever. Even if he died, he can work out and call a rotation, and the time is ticking away. And it looks like it's going to be... The bomb is still down towards mid-warehouse, to be fair to them. So the T's don't really know where they're going with this so far. I see them collecting up in the mid. I think there's waiting on a pick from Ely, whether he can open up the map for them even further. Smoke going towards connectors, so potentially maybe a B split coming up here or straight up highway.
And they've won mid pretty much every time they've gone out there. Much an indication of the scoreline. They are going to head toward B, so through the vents, main line already in checkers. It's Ellis that has to hold this out from inside the B site. And he looks to do initial damage, but takes more in return, so main line will put him down. As Ocean rotating over, looks to find the player. He could hear at Generator, but doesn't check the angle at Small Pit. Justin gets the kill. Invitation is saved for both Slummy and Ape.
What a horrible round for SKDC to lose. They go into the next one with $1,400. Ape and Slemmy really do need to save these 2 guns. It's so important. If they have any chance of getting back into this series, they can't go into the next round on a full eco. That'd be so horrible for them. Another successful round from F. It didn't really look too difficult for them, to be honest. Just went out middle together. There was no presence whatsoever. Like we said before, if you're not gaining information as CT and you're all sat back so deeply, it's very hard to actually work out where the team's going to be going. And you're not pressuring them again. There was no pressure. They just allowed them to do whatever they want.
Oh, was that? All right, flashbang. If that was a nade that went in, it would have killed Slummy because he got clipped through the wall.
Might get them still. Going to be close. Oh, no chance. But there we go then. 10-1, just looking at the money of the CTs now. Like we said, did save 2 guns. They need to work out how they're going to approach this. Do they force buy the rest of the team? It looks like they're going for it. And at this stage, it's so far gone that I think this is probably a wise choice. You need to start getting around it, take some risks, take the game to them and see what they can do with it.
Ape, oddly enough, sits at 7-7. Despite the score is 10-1 against him, so...
Slem is at 1 for 10. A player we highlighted who has to step up and unfortunately doesn't really seem to be bringing much to the table so far.
Good push up through A main right now, though, from the CTs. We haven't seen this approach before. They aren't going to go through the door, are they? If Ape does, he'll spot Ely, but the problem is there's also a very passive T side that's waiting for that push. 2 players way back by the truck and spawn, and Strebber that's near A main, or rather near A long, as we can see now, looking to set up those smokes. Double stack mid as well for Ocean and Ellis, both inside Z. So no one forward, no one aggressive to try and get inside the cubby, cancel out the boost with any element of surprise. They're just going to play this very passive. Stewie now inside B realizes that there's a chance they're working that way, but they've found mid. Main line's going to take down Ocean. They've got mid to work with. Slemmy, though, could be a real problem because Slemmy is on a perfect flank, and he is inside the big garage. If they don't spot him coming, I think Ely did. Ely heard him coming, but Slemmy's still going to win that first kill. It does drop the bomb, so they have to go back. It pulls them back a little bit further. But they've got that back, and interestingly enough, Ellis has left B site, as has Stewie, as a result of this. So I'm not sure if they thought they could win those exchanges, but now they've essentially given up B.
It's just going to be down to Ellis now. He's got to hold off 4 players or Famas. I don't think it can be done, especially with no flashbangs or any sort of nades. Getting smoked out completely here. Stewie does answer back, though. 3-on-2 situation around SKDC. You have to win now.
The bomb does go down. Leaves Strebber stuck in the corner, but he fights his way out of it. Headshot into Hellas, leaving Slemmy. He's on 5 HP, so he doesn't even want to run and telegraph exactly where he is. He just wants to creep away with the AK. But again, this scoreline just incredible. I mean, they reset the round loss bonus, and Method come right back. It's almost like a free kick at that point for Method. Like,
absolutely. Especially when you force buy back with scouts. You saw Ocean trying to hold middle with the scout. And when you've got 4 AKs running at you, you're never going to win that battle unless you find a perfect headshot and manage to fall back. So this is going from bad to worse for SKDC. Unfortunately, I hate to be a pessimist, but this map is over, in my opinion. If you're struggling with the basic fundamentals of the map, they are trying some new things, to be fair to them. The CTs are pushing into that A storage area, trying to get some sort of presence there. But if you're not finding any kills whatsoever and you're wasting all your utility there and you haven't really gained anything from it, it's almost pointless because then you have to fall back to the bomb site and you're left with nothing. So they're forcing themselves into a situation they shouldn't really be into now. And now we can see a force buy with the P250. They saved an AK, but I don't really think much is going to come of this. Silent does take down Ape and the onslaught continues.
Ely creeping. Ellis waiting. Flash through both corners, but that actually caught Ellis. So unfortunately, the plan to move forward for Method is thwarted by their own efforts. And that allows Ellis to pick up the kill on Ely. That said, though, Beast Bomb site is given up, essentially, for one single trade. That lets Strebber put the bomb down. And Mainline's gone to tree, so he's going to catch them before they can even get to heaven. Again, leaving just Slemmy, who's inside CT spawn. Desperately holding on to an AK for yet another round.
Yeah, he saved the last round, so he's going to want to do it again. But going into 12-1, I'm not really sure what use is going to be at this stage. You can see the other guys didn't force by that time. They got a P250 each, but next buy is going to be very difficult for them as well. Not going to have much to play with. They'll be able to squeeze some rifles out, but if Slemmy goes down as well, it's going to be a very, very difficult buy for them. As I said before, this half has almost tied up this game already. You can't really favour SKDC in any sort of capacity now. Slemmy will survive though. He does get the AK save, so that's going to help the economy a little bit. He'll be able to drop an AWP perhaps if they wanted to change it up. Slemmy, yeah, it is. He's got it out. We haven't seen him step up this map whatsoever. He's just had some save kills and the odd spray in the back. He hasn't actually done anything whatsoever to have any impact. So he's got the AWP now. He's probably said to his team, I can find an opportunity here. Let me work something. He's going to A by himself as well, so that's going to be good. He'll probably go towards a quad area, maybe something a little bit more aggressive, but let's see what the T's bring to the table, whether they can knock it down.
So scorching flames atop the boost. That lets Ely go into mid, but it doesn't get his team in position with him. So fighting solo, and they know his position. Ellis does manage to pick up mainline going over top, but Justin trading it now gives up mid again. So Method have so much map control to work with in this round as well. Bombs at Cubby, so it's committed into middle, but they'll pick that up any second. And they'll fan the defense out accordingly. Slemmy on A, Stewie inside the B site towards Generator. And Ocean just waiting for a call. He's on 26, but there it is. There's the first opening shot onto A. From the op of Silent. Pulls Ocean, and now they're completely divided. I mean, they could still go either direction at this point. Again, Ocean on low HP, though. That's their best chance. Ocean may catch them off, though, not before Silent can come back out, because if Justin had run out prematurely with that bomb in hand, it slowed things down. Ely going to catch Stewie, and 13-1 heading into round 15. I don't think we predicted this.
I don't think anyone could have. Starting T-Star, we thought, it's going to be competitive. We know this is Method's best map. From what I've read online, this is the one they really favour. But I didn't think it'd be this bad. Going from yesterday as well, it was like 16-10 scoreline. SKDC seem almost lost in this one, and it goes into the 15th round now. One round on the board for SKDC. They have to get a force by 5-7 to scout, but this should be another round tied up, really. What can they do to get back into this? See a lot of players getting towards B now. They're going to find that opening frag as well, I think.
Justin, he's close.
Wow.
His guess is correct, but not aimed accurately enough, and Stewie's going to make a problem right now. SKDC finally taking a fight in this round as they push forward, and Stewie eventually does get avenged, but rather revenged, but either way, he's down and out of it. They bring it back. The gun's not necessarily recovered, but Ape again with the scout now brings it back to just mainline, and he's on 20. So they won't even need that much firepower, and Slemmy has the angle. Of course they would close it out like that.
Why not? 2 rounds on the board. Obviously, pistol required, but if I was the captain for this team right now, I'd probably be thinking in the back of my mind, we need to be looking towards the next map. This one is not recoverable in this current climate they're in on D-Cash. So we can see the players they're really missing were going to be Slemmy and Ocean. They didn't really turn up whatsoever. On the other team, though, Justin, a player I kind of highlighted, has stood out for me this tournament. He's doing really well, 17 frags there, but the way the frags the teams were getting, it was almost trivial at that stage. They were quite easy, very simple stuff coming in from them. A couple of really interesting tactics they did. The A execute onto the side with the full smokes and going straight through middle into B. That was quite cool. But ultimately outclassed them in the fragging battles. Method didn't really have any response. SKDC didn't really have any response, sorry. And they tried a few different ideas, but just got shut down almost everywhere. A pistol round now that is must win for SKDC. Method can just play something a little bit simple, maybe just try to get some info somewhere, but this one's tied up with them. Even if they lose this pistol, just need to make sure they don't do anything silly and ruin their own economy.
Pre-flash in on 8, slow them down. Stewie doesn't care, he's already lined up behind the box and was waiting for that push. It's not going to come through. So 2 on 8. CT's also pushing into B, and this is where the information will be garnered. If Silent can find this pick, he's already spotted them playing very, very passively out toward their own spawn. Bombs over there as well for Ocean.
He could have spotted the bomb. I'm not sure. I didn't see a screen there. Has he spotted the bomb? That's going to be devastating. The rotations, I guess he hasn't.
I think the only one he saw was Ellis, who was jumping in behind. But look at the push through mid. Now it's SKDC's turn to mainline. Has to go for the reload. He's caught before he can do anything about it because the flash forcing him so far out of position. But Stewie isn't going to be the only one picking up a kill because one went the other direction, and now Silent's got one of his own. Ellis getting that trade does leave it to 3 on 3, but problematic for the CTs right now is that Method not only smoked outside of the site, but don't have the full rotations in, and Ellis is having a hell of a pistol round as he collects his 3rd kill. Strebber now, 1 on 3, bomb's going to go down.
Bomb has been planted.
And SKDC could pick up number 3, and importantly, the pistol round to get some economy rolling. Salvage a little bit of pride, perhaps. It might be too little too late, because Method only need the 3 total. Strebber wants to go. Looking through. Knows Ocean's in the back of the site. Finding Ellis makes this actually doable right now for Strebber. The problem is there's still a crossfire set up, and he can't decide which direction to peek. So Ocean closing it. It is 3 for SKDC.
Yeah, Ellis opening things up, 3 huge frags for him in the Glock, but this is what I'm talking about. This is where Method can really define this game. They can do something a little bit silly if they decide to force buy this one, which I really don't think you need to do. When you have this many rounds to play with, forcing the issue is probably not recommended. You want to look to the future, go for the first gun run, have the best buy you possibly can, and it gives you a really strong chance of closing the game out instead of taking this huge risk when it's not really required. But they actually have done it. They've gone for PC 5.7s and armor. Ely, though, not getting the armor, he's potentially going to be picking up the AWP on this map, but this is something I wouldn't have suggested for the CT to do. It's just not required, and you should just be focusing on the main gun rounds.
So Ape wants to try and open up the door, but as we've already seen from X-Ray, there's a stack inside the A site at Slide and a 3rd player at Quad. So a heavy presence right now on A for Method, and it pays off as Justin finding the 1st kill on Stewie. And now picking the 2nd one on Ellis means that Method could turn this around with an eco, and Slemmy not responding it. They're going to have all 5 players on A and yet to have a rotation back the other direction. SKDC, this is a little bit stubborn as they continue forward with odds stacked against them. And not only that, Silence pushing back toward middle to potentially cut off any rotations back the other direction. Finally, though, SKDC getting some response as they bring it back to 2 versus 2 now, as Strebber getting caught by Ape leaves a very low Silent, 5 HP. And Ely's got 100. He's going to have to play this brilliantly, but unfortunately Silent has walked out. And Ocean going over the top will catch off Ely's position. So SKDC losing a lot of guns, but holding on.
Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about with Method now. They may have got a few kills there, but ultimately, if you don't win the round, it's kind of pointless. They didn't need to take that risk. They go into the first round now. I think one player didn't buy armor, so they may be able to get the AWP out, but it's going to affect them going into the first round. T's going to recover. They saved the UMP there, be able to farm some money with that. But this should be a pretty simple round for them now. We can see there's going to be a couple of PC-50s chucked into the mix, but it's essentially a full save from SKDC. It'll be interesting to see how they approach it, whether they do a stack. Seems like it's played like a gun round, really. Just playing 3 players towards A. Nothing really special coming out, and the T's will be executing onto middle, and the first kill does come in from Ape, taking down a couple more, and it's going to be a 5-on-3 situation now in favour of the T's, and hopefully a chance for them to get back into this series.
So Ape again toward the door, same position we saw him in last time. It's a lot less of a presence, obviously, with 2 men down on A this time, with only Strebber left in the site. Justin, at white box, he's going to get caught. Stewie flashing over, and I'm not even sure Justin was aware that he was that close. Ape, he'll find Strebber on the catwalk, leaving just Ely all the way over at the B site. Bomb's going to go into A. They'll get this plant down. They'll secure the round. It would be great, though, having lost 3 players in the previous one, if they could do it with full efficiency.
Bomb has been planted.
As we await to see, because Ellis is in mid-ocean, though, is a lot closer than that to exactly where Ely is waiting from. In this corner, and he does wait long enough for Ely to get impatient.
And there we go then. This is where it really counts now. We can see the CTs that Bio was talking about. It's going to be okay, rifle and armor, but not much in terms of utility bringing to the table. So incendiaries are very important for the CTs here. You use the smoke to lock up the choke points at the beginning of the round. Then for the execution, you really do rely on the incendiary grenades to hold the T's back and stifle them and force them to make decisions they don't want to. But T's are going to be aware of this as well. They saw the force spike coming in, so things like an execute, like onto an A-bomb side with smokes and stuff like that, it's always very recommended when you're in this sort of financial advantage, as it were.
So, Molotov toward the vents. Force mainline out. That gives up an extra player in mid, so SKDC can get a little bit closer to their objective. And also, interestingly enough, has forced Ely and Justin up highway. And Ely wants to go back towards Z, so he's rotated past the truck back to middle, just not to expose himself, but change his angle. Takes a bit of time in the rotation, but fortunately there hasn't been a push from SKDC in that moment. So it's the right call. Meanwhile, though, Ape gets him, so on his arrival, he's met with the Grim Reaper's dying wish, and now it's going to be Justin to try and recover that position. So they're reacting accordingly. They're keeping things spread out fairly evenly on the CT side. But SKDC is taking what map control is given as they continue to push down mid. Stewie is going to find Justin in exactly that position. Interestingly enough, though, here we see is Strebber boost at his main line will find Stewie, and Strebber takes the shot. I thought he might wait a little longer to see if anyone else would be lurking in. Either way, Method now on the gun will have the advantage and crucially taking down Ape, leaving just Slemmy, and without much hope at all. It is a 1-on-2. He does have bombs, so he can get toward the site and get this down. But they're going to be hot on his heels before he has any chance to set up a post position, and they catch him in no man's land. Good re-entry from main line, and now it's going to be 14 for Method.
It was going so well for SKDC going into that round. They're getting the opening frags. It was a 5-on-3 at one point, and then mainline and Silent seemed like Silent got one of the most important kills there when he's at the headshot area. But mainline takes down 3 of his own, and obviously going to be a very important round. T's do get down the bomb though, so it's not going to be devastating for them in terms of economy. They can bring a full buy to the table, but CT's losing a couple. Theirs is not going to be healthy either. Obviously, a huge round in the context of the actual map. If Method win this, they go on to map points and knock the T's down to a full eco potentially as well. So this is one SKDC have to win if they want to stay alive in this one. We see a P90 from Justin coming in. Be interesting to see how he utilizes that, whether he's going to get close range and bring the party to the T's.
So they'll boost to the vents this time, not push through middle to do so. Ape's far enough ahead in B tunnels, though, that I'm pretty sure he would have heard that vent get popped. So we'll see if they respond. They have a single Molotov on Ellis. He is toward mid, but he's actually already through. He's already taking the fight, and Silent, not aware that he's at such a close angle, does go down as a result to it. Slemmy now picking up at Ely is going to give the advantage back to SKDC. Mainline, though, inside B has an AK. And that Molotov goes too deep. It lands below. Actually, I take that back. It does end up spreading far enough forward. I didn't think that was going to do any damage at all, as Ape will find him forced out of position correctly so. And Method, after winning gun round number 1, are right back to having to clutch this one out. They'll make their chances better with that P90. But bomb's down and bend down now for 5 seconds, plus they've got Slemmy inside checker. So even though they want to reapproach this from B tunnels, they've got not only someone forward of the site that they have to win the duel against and do, but they've got to deal with 2 post-plant positions and a crossfire as Ape's on generator, and they've yet to find him. Now they do. Justin's got it, so it's still left to a 2-on-1 for the CTs. They may just pull this back, and Strebber getting that shot. They've got a kit, and I do believe Strebber does have time. Method are going to put themselves on match point.
Yes, it's coming down to these situations, these clutch situations and the actual one-on-one fragging. It seems like Method seem to have the advantage here. Opening round, SKDC found some very good picks towards the middle area, got themselves some great advantage, but unable to hold off the retake from 2 people, and they had a man advantage as well. So disappointing stuff for them. And of course, like you said, that pushes Method onto map point. SKDC now obviously have to force buy. They won't have much in terms of utility, but I think this one they know is over. They'll probably be something very simple, maybe a full-on rush into a bomb site, see what they can do there. Looks like an A split will be coming in very quickly for them, actually. See 3 players heading towards the squeaky area, and 2 guys in the A storage, maybe just one smoke and a pop flash, see if they can get out, cause some chaos, but here we go then.
Well, it will be chaos ensuing because there is initially only Strebber on that A site. So there's a chance for the Pistols to at least, or rather, excuse me, the T's and with the Tech 9 to get in and get this bomb plant down. But Justin's finding them. He's already got Ape, and Justin now going to collect Stewie as well. Silence close enough that he can push forward. They may not even get a chance to plant here, as Slemmy finding himself with 13 in a 1 versus 3. It's over. Method 16-5, even more convincing than the night previous. Dominant fashion on map 1.
We didn't see that coming, did we? Getting that sort of scoreline on the T side is crazy. Going into it with that far of a deficit, like I said, you're kind of planning for the next map at that stage. If you're only getting 2 rounds on a CT half of cash, you really do need to question what's going on with your setup. Yeah,
I 100% agree. I mean, that was completely ridiculous that we were at 13-2 at the end of the first half when it's a T side for Method. And they looked so good. They did it in different fashions, too. It wasn't like it was one thing over and over. You could argue mid was repetitive, but for the most part, I mean, they had a really good fake on A. Yep. They had a 3-out squeaky strategy. They had, I mean, their default was initially set up with a presence in the garage to watch for aggression from the CTs, but every execution after that was slightly different.
The thing is as well, though, SKDC tried to respond to it. They tried to do different setups. They tried to get the AWP towards B. But as soon as they adapted to what Method were doing, they answered back with something completely different. And that's what really worked for them. They kept it really dynamic. And SKDC did try all the things I would have been calling as well. Like, okay, let's push into A storage. Let's try and get some control there. Let's see if we can find a player. But as soon as they did that, they didn't find anyone. They wasted all their utility in that area, had to fall back, and had nothing left the rest of the round. So they were very unfortunate in some of their decisions. I think it was good ideas being employed, but just unlucky with the ones they tried. It was the time that the T's actually reacted to them. Came down to a lot of individual fragging as well. Saw Slemmy having a very quiet game. We picked him out as being one of the stellar players of the team. He needed to step up, but they had a chance of getting back into this one. But going 1 for 10 on the first map, you don't have to have a lot of faith in him, do you?
No, not at all. So we'll have to pick things back up on map number 2, which is Dust 2. We'll take a very short break. We'll come back. They lost on this one last night. They're going to have to redeem themselves here. And the Molotovs did it on B. A good play, but what a flash coming back out. And Ellis is able to collect. Things are looking great for SKDC.
Frag coming in for side, and he will take down Slemmy.
Finding all of the openings. Shutting down this aggression now from SKDC as well. Money already established. 7 rounds, about to be 8. It's definitely a perfect start for this best of 5. And there, CZ75 kill on Stewie, who can't even find anything in response. Ape does.
Talking about this is where Method can really define this game. They can do something a little bit silly if they decide to force buy this one, which
with odds stacked against them. And not only that, Silence pushing back toward middle to potentially cut off any rotations back the other direction. Finally, though, SKDC getting some response as they bring it back to 2 versus 2 now, as Streber getting caught by Ape leaves a very low Silent, 5 HP. Healy's got 100. He's going to have to play this brilliantly, but unfortunately Silent has walked out. And Ocean going over the top will catch off.